This is the Women's Leadership Forum with your hostess, Colette Coakley, on Facebook Live and YouTube. Here, our tribe discusses how to move you forward in your community, workplace, and homes with topics such as health, workforce development, and relationships. We bring information that can be used to encourage you, to move you ahead into your greatness. Join us now as we have authentic conversation to keep you moving forward. Hi, everybody. I'm back. It's Wednesday. Hey, what is it? It's hump day. Glad to have you. We're back with the Women's Leadership Forum. And boy, do I have a guest. I have a surprise guest. It's not our typical guest. And I'm lucky to be able to call him friend. Okay. So I want to tell you once again, my name's Colette Coakley. I'm Vice President of Human Resources for Maryland Public Television. And I am the founder of the Women's Leadership Forum. We come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Facebook Live and YouTube. On Monday, we have Motivation and Moving Monday, where we talk about health and wellness. On Wednesday, we have Workforce Development Day. And if you don't remember, today is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. And then on Friday, I bring friends along. We talk about our communities, our homes, and the things that matter also to you. So I welcome you. I also want to tell you about the Women's Leadership Forum and the big event that's coming up in March. So the big event is a 3-day event. It's a virtual event. Now, many of you have said to me, Colette, I go out here and I register. I'm going to register. But you're asking me to sit for 3 days? 3 days in front of my computer? No, I'm not asking you just to sit. I'm asking you to be active, interactive with us on this virtual platform that we're presenting that allows you to hop in and hop out of the things that matter to you most. We're giving you choices, and we're giving you choices virtually. So we start out with our keynote speaker, and if you don't know who that is, let me tell you who it is. It's April Ryan, White House News Bureau Chief for the GRIO. And I don't know if you've been following on social media, but on social media, I saw where she was nominated for the NAACP award. Kudos to April Ryan for all of the work that she's done, particularly in the African American community. We do nothing but congratulate you. April's coming to our platform to be interviewed. So the tables are going to be turned on March the 18th, where we have Sheila Murphy, an immigration attorney, interviewing her and her skills. So we know that Sheila knows how to ask the right questions and the questions that we want to know. And so we welcome Sheila and April Ryan to our platform. On that day, it's followed by a panel, and the panel is discussing womanhood. And we have a panel of like 6 women who don't know what the questions are, but I know that they've got an answer. And so we are welcoming those women to have conversation about what's it like in their day, particularly now in this COVID period, where the kids are at home with them all the time. And some of us, we don't want that. We don't like that. And we're going to talk about it. Okay, after that, you get more choices. We have 13 workshops that you can choose to go in and out or choose your favorite. Stay with it. We want you to get things and get the information that you would like to get from the Women's Forum most. We're doing all that we can to present as much as we can so that you can figure out where you want to be. And guess what? If you haven't figured it out, we have a help desk to help you figure it out. We're going to help you make the choices that we believe that you would like to see happen in your career, in your life, in your finances, in your communities, and your home. So we're welcoming you on day 1. On day 2, we have the fabulous writing session. And then we have something for those interns and those students who are trying to elevate themselves into the career world. So there's not going to be an excuse not to be with us. Okay? After which, if you bought that VIP ticket, we're going to treat you like a VIP. We treat you like a VIP anyway, but we're going to treat you even grander because we want you to party with us and to join our moderator in her book discussion. Now, Sheila Murphy has a book out. Wait a minute. I'm going to turn right here because I read this book. I want everybody to know I read the book. So I'm going to turn here and show you this book, Being Sheila. It's a quick read, but I'm going to tell you, the kids say it's deep because this shows how to be a humanitarian. It's a quick read. It only took me over the weekend. So I know for you readers, okay, speed readers, you're going to want to get this book. Every dollar that that you use to purchase this book goes to Sheila's foundation. And you can read more about that on her website, which is murphylaw.com. Okay, I said 3 days. I only described 2. So what do we have on the 3rd day, which is Saturday? What do you want to hear? Business. We want to talk about business, small business. So we have big powerhouses at the table. We have M&T Bank. We have Toyota coming. We have, the Department of Labor is going to be at the table and some women who are entrepreneurs. We're going to talk about what are we supposed to be doing with PPP, PPE, all the P's that you want to bring to the table. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about what should we do during this time? What should we do during this time? If we're trying to keep our business afloat and you haven't pivoted at all, okay, you might want to join us because we're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about how we can help you, give you some of those tools that you need to make a correction or a reflection. How about that? I rhymed right there. A correction or a reflection on what you should do to get your business right. Now, I've kept this. Wait a minute. Before I go there, we are talking about jobs here today. Okay. We're talking about jobs, and what the forum is going to bring to you is a platform so that you can job search, you can interview, or you can just be a stander by. But if you want a job, you're going to have to take action. Looking for a job requires action. We are bringing you all the tools. So if your resume is not right, you might want to come and get that resume right. If you don't know how to interview or sit up straight for the camera, because now we're all doing those interviews virtually, then you would want to practice with us. We're giving you enough time to enter the form, to exit the form, and actually have a preliminary interview done with recruiters. I can't do that like Oprah does it, but recruiters. We have recruiters. So you might want to join us. Now, I know that the people in the, I know what you're waiting on. You're waiting for me to put up the banners on how to join. So here we go. You would go to my website, the Women's Forum website, WLF.org, WLF.org. And if you can't find us, we have a hashtag for you. Hashtag for WLF. So how convenient. Forward WLF.org or hashtag forward WLF. Now, I know you all are wondering, who does she have today? Who's in the wings just waiting for us? I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Okay, he's an entrepreneur. How about that? He's forward thinking, and he's a forward thinking community advocate. Now, I'm also going to tell you, you don't want to play chess with this guy. Okay? Because, no, let me say cards. Because if you play cards, you're going to be out. You're going to be out because he is going to outwise you, outthink you in the process. So he's going to tell you what your cards are, the cards that you're holding. I'm giving him credit. He has a strong background in education, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his journey. I'm welcoming to the platform Mr. Arron Copeland. So
Good.
I welcome you. I welcome you. If I had what stadium noise, right? The kind of stadium noise that they're playing now, right? Because the stadiums are empty, I would go, clap, clap, clap. I know the audience is surprised because usually I bring on, a female to this platform.
Thank you.
And so I know they're going like, oh man, what's she doing? She let the man into the tribe.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, but listen, this is what I want to tell the women. You're gonna need a good man by your side. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that. 1, 2. While in this area, females rule in entrepreneurship as far as the number of entrepreneurs are concerned, men are still holding the money. And so I like bringing men to the platform because 1, they got the money. Now, that's not to say that, okay, let me clarify. That's not to say that the females don't have money. Because there are plenty of females who have supported the forum they've got the coins. Okay. But what I want to say is that some of the decision makers, the people who we go before, are male. So what better person to have in the square next to me, if I'm pointing in the right direction, because I don't always get that right. Yeah. Have it in the square next to me and know what's on the minds of those entrepreneurs who own businesses, but also have in their purview the ability to hire. And so I welcome you, Arron, to the platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Scarlett. It's very interesting when we talk about letting me in, and I do appreciate that. I can't tell you how much I do appreciate that. And yeah, men for the most part, and I'm not going to say for the most part, in many cases, hold some of the purse strings. But I think what's more important is to be able to speak the same language. It is, I think sometimes we use the same words, but we don't pour into that word the same meaning. And so it's good to be able to talk across. I don't know which way.
Yeah, you did. Okay, that was it.
It's good to be able to talk and talk openly and try to understand one another so that we can say what we mean and mean what we say.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that because I almost left this out. Okay, here we go. February. This is February, believe it or not. Okay, and our focus is on the heart. And many times, no, what you just said is true. Having authentic conversation is conversation that comes from the heart, right? But I'm going to say this, and I want to get your opinion. Okay. Watch out, world. Okay. I want to get your opinion.
Mhm.
Many times when we're interviewing, I feel like, and when I say we, I'm saying women.
Mhm.
When women are interviewing, sometimes they revert to the heart from which when they're speaking.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I venture to say that is not being strategic when you are interviewing. Opinion?
Well, I think speaking from the heart is the most authentic way to communicate. I think that's the purest way to communicate. I think anything other than speaking from the heart is masking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, that being said, I don't know if everyone is ready to hear the true self. Everybody's not ready to hear that. And I think women do a great job at interviewing. I interview women. I think they do a great job. I think that there's some passion there. And as a business owner, you want to hear passion. And I think you should bring whoever you are, bring it. Because whatever you bring to the table, that is what you're going to be working with. Like the next day after you're employed, you're going to bring that the next day too. So be who you are. And if you want to be more strategic, that's good. But always be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Always be authentic. So if you believe you need to tone it down, have somebody mirror you or work with you to be able to present the way you think you should present. I get that. That's okay. I'm not going to say that it's wrong. I'm going to say if you feel comfortable with it and that's who you are, that's who you are. Because when you get employed, that is what you're going to bring to the table. You can't hide that every day. But no, I don't think it's a real problem. I think well, like I said, I think speaking from the heart is really the authentic thing. We spend more time hiding it, and I personally think that is a problem because you don't get the best out of people when you force them to hide who they are.
Okay. But everybody doesn't work for you.
Right.
Okay. And so while you welcome a person being authentic, it's not always welcome.
Absolutely.
Because of labels.
Yes.
In part because of labels.
Yes.
And so yeah, we do end up, experiencing duality. Um we hide who we really are.
Mm-hmm.
We can't work effectively as a result.
And that is the world we're in. We relate to. We work with a bunch of imperfect people.
Mm-hmm.
Our leaders are imperfect. Our bosses aren't perfect. We aren't dealing with perfect people. So and the environment that we come into, in some cases when we're looking for a job, we have to get that job.
Mm-hmm.
And so in getting that job, sometimes we have to compromise. So we do have to tone it down. So it's not, I wish I could give a perfect answer and say, hey, look, do this in this situation and tone it down in this situation. But what helps a lot is having quite a few interviews. Mm-hmm. So if you're banking everything on one interview, I get it. You've got to make sure that you put yourself in this real tight box. Mm-hmm. Because you got one shot, because all you're giving yourself is one shot. But if you can come with a number of interviews across the spectrum, you can more afford to be yourself, whatever that is. And one of those positions will take you just as you are. But again, one part of it is the imperfect reality that we're dealing with. That's one part of it. The other part of it is the situation we're personally in. Everything hasn't been all good for me. And, when I was a young father coming up, I was going to be in that box.
I think we all were in the box. We all were in the box trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to get a pamper?
Right.
Right. Pampers come in the box. So how are we going to, we need many of them.
We need many of them. And so depending upon where we are, it's good to have a mentor if you can have one, or a friend. sometimes a friend can give you really good feedback, but with all that feedback and with all the mentoring, nothing will help unless you're ready to hear it.
Mm.
If you're not ready to hear it.
Right. And be open.
Yeah, you got to be open for it.
You got to be open.
Yeah.
And it might hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might hurt.
Yeah.
But somebody telling you, hey, every sentence you said,
That's right. That's right.
You're like, no, I didn't.
Yeah. And those things like that, it doesn't take away from your authenticity.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from who you are. If you stop saying if you make some corrections, and that all that is discipline. So I think sometimes we've got to make sure that we know the difference between being authentic, authentic, and just being mature.
Okay.
There's two different things, because you can be authentic and mature. In some environments I may talk a certain way, and that's who I am in that environment. And there are other environments I talk maybe slightly different, but that's who I am also. You will still get truth. You still get honesty.
Before I go to the chat here, what I failed to do, because we just would jump right on. We felt like we were like friends, right? Yeah. So let me ask you to just give our audience a picture of your journey, and then I hope that I say this person's name right. Sitra Sharma. I want to come to her question in the chat. So give us a little bit about your journey.
So kid coming up, and they put me back in the second grade. I was in special education. They very young person, didn't have a whole lot of confidence in the education. I think they just warehoused me. It was during that period. They just warehoused me, and so I wasn't really learning anything. The teacher wasn't teaching. And that went through maybe second, third grade or something like that, which were really pivotal years in the child's education, but also in a child's confidence in education. So that stuck with me. The lack of confidence in education, that stuck with me probably through high school. So I did what a lot of kids did, African-American males did. I became an athlete. I got that positive reinforcement, being an athlete, and that's fine. And I didn't do well in school. I probably was more afraid of failing than anything else, which is something that, I think it's important to teach people to not be afraid to fail, because that's but that was pretty difficult. But I started my journey on trying to learn, really, really trying hard, regardless of the failures. When I met this young lady in my senior year, and I actually graduated with less than a 2.0. And so, and the story was good, because I eventually married her. We got 2 kids, all that kind of good stuff like that. But
you got a Cinderella thing going on. Okay.
Going on. And so, but there was still intimidation with education, and that is one of the problems with, you call it racism. That's one of the problems. It's there's a lot of things that you can't do, a lot of doors that aren't open, but when somebody puts a stigma on you or make you afraid of learning, you are hindering your own growth. And so that happened. I went to college. My brother talked to me and said, hey, look, you got to go someplace. So I went to college and I did well. And I did well because I was afraid. I was afraid, what am I going to do? So I just, I didn't have some of the basics that other kids had. I would just stay in a room. I remember staying, I went away to school, and I remember being in bed with a calculator, and everybody else was partying, and I just had a book. And, I would go to the back and look at the the solutions to the problems. And I would be there just adding, just saying, how did this thing happen? How did this thing happen? Reading, I would look at phrasing of words, and I would mimic that and copy the phrasing, because some of the tools used to learn I didn't have. So we went through that, and eventually, I majored in business, and I got a CPA, so didn't do too bad. And so once I found out that actually learning wasn't that hard for me, it wasn't that hard. I like took it to another level. So it was easy for me to develop and innovate different things, and reading people became second nature, because that's what you had to do. Because since I didn't have the education, I had to figure people out. So I kind of looked at them and kind of listened to them to figure out, people. So you take that along with finally embracing the idea that, I can learn, I can write, as we shared just recently, since the COVID, I started writing these letters. And so, and amazingly, and I just find it amazing. I don't even think it's me sometimes when I'm writing these letters and people are looking at the letters and saying, wow, this is like really impressive. I'm like, are you sure? And I'm always unsure now. I'm really unsure now, because that just wasn't me. And so gave it to some editors. They really are interested in publishing. Some of the letters have been published, and the letters are more about just a different view of society. And I think because I wasn't accepted early, I just looked at things differently, a different perspective. So I wouldn't want any child to go through that. And that's probably why I'm in the space and passionate about the space I'm in. Because what you do is you hinder a child early, and you have them self-doubt. So, and if you have them self-doubt, you don't have to worry about them, in my case, me, competing with somebody else for a job, because I've taken myself out.
Yeah. And I want to say, to the parents who are listening, that happens a lot. You notice, you think something's wrong with your child, but sometimes it is that self-doubt that is working in them. And, they need some assistance, or they need somebody to actually recognize that in them, instead of, and we talked about this before we got on the air, the actual labels being put on them by the school.
Right.
Right.
And sometimes the child could be bright, extraordinarily bright.
Yeah.
And because they don't speak the same language, because they don't see the same thing the same way, they're labeled again. And I think that could have been my case. Because I was in the class with everybody in special ed, and I was asking different questions. And I remember asking the teacher different questions and writing or trying to write a certain way. And they would say, no, this is not it. And I don't think they wanted to develop that, or I was in a classroom with certain people, so they couldn't develop that. So, one of the problems, if a child sees something very differently, there's really nobody there.
Or it takes a different approach to solving X, right? Exactly. Then we're criticized for that.
Exactly.
And no, I believe that no child approaches something in one fashion. There's like no direct line. Now, yes, we know, which is funny, because we know that 1 + 1 = 2. But now, however they're doing that new math to get there, all of a sudden the new math is taking over. There's 10 different approaches to how you get to the number 2. Right? But when a child was like tapping on the desk to get there, that was considered, that child has a problem. They're disturbing the class. You need to take them here and have them diagnosed. But now you see, some of the schools go back to the abacus.
Abacus.
To try to teach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you imagine the kids who may have been diagnosed special ed? that they just saw things differently.
Mm-hmm.
They just saw it just slightly differently. All the wonderful things they could have done if that was just supported.
Yes.
It would,
Yes.
if that was just supported.
Yes. And it's the same as what part of the wave, and we're gonna round back to the jobs part, right? But hey, everybody, this is how our conversations go. But if you take a look at a child, or let's even talk about jobs.
Mm-hmm.
The new employee that enters,
Mm-hmm.
right? You enter a culture that is deep.
Mm-hmm.
And the new employee looks and says, well, wait, why do you all keep walking that way?
Right.
Down that hall. Can't you just go across this way and get there?
Right.
And there's no harm in going across this way, but everybody has been going that way.
Right.
That person gets ostracized just for asking the question.
Right.
Right.
And the skill you learn from going through a path like mine, you learn how to walk their way, but you have the option of walking your way.
Okay. And that would take me in a like another totally different direction, but we're not going to go there. But it also speaks to the resiliency, right? Of being able, resiliency, our buoyancy, and also the ability to know more than one language.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Right? Sometimes giving up is a privilege.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a privilege.
Yeah.
If you ain't got no options, you can't give up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about well, no, let me just, because I'm going to take everybody to a place they want to go. Let's get to Miss Sharma. Oh, Miss Sharma's. Yeah. She says, when we were talking about the careers, I'm trying to get back to what we were talking about. Okay. She says, for a woman who had to voluntarily take off from a career to take care of their family, when she plans to get back to the workforce after a gap of 10 years or so, that's what happens in interviews. We were talking about interviewing. She talks from her heart, right? Give project management examples from her responsibilities at PTAs, or how she kept herself up to date with the technology, but it becomes negative for her. Speaking from the heart backfires, especially for moms coming back. Hardly any choices. Okay, I want to speak to that for just a second, because, I got on that new thing called Clubhouse. Okay. Right. I got invited, and by the time I figured out how to enter, I was halfway through the conversation, and they were talking about transitioning. Now, I'm not going to say that this was Sharma's event at all, but one of the things that one of the coaches that were on Clubhouse said, sometimes it's how we sell ourselves, and that what you said, I'm going to tie what you said back in, which is speaking the language. Because you do have to know the language. You can't go in to the American company speaking Japanese. Right. Because they're not going to get it. Right. So I think the way I feel about the heart is that, no, you can't compromise the basis of yourself. But you're going to have to weigh what we were saying earlier. If you're trying to pay for the Pampers, you might have to pay for the Pampers to get to the point where you can totally speak everything that's in your heart, or get to a level where you can say just what your heart is saying, right, and it be accepted, right. Because I had, believe it or not, it's not showing here today, but I had dreads all the way down here coming in. but I knew where I was going in. And so I
Mhm.
put them up. Now, that's
Mhm.
not that's not the place I want my dreads.
Right.
I wanted, but I realized if I wanted the job, I needed to be accepted in that place. And I would get to a place, I would purpose in my heart that I would get to the place where I could wear them the way that I wanted to wear. I earned enough stripes to wear them the way that I felt comfortable wearing them.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't feel like I compromised myself because the answers that I gave
Mhm.
were purely from the heart.
Right.
The I might not have said them the way that I'm speaking here today,
Right.
or the way that I'm speaking in my home
Right.
or with my tribe. I had to figure out a way in which I could get them to hear me and hear my answer, my authentic answer.
Mhm.
And it might be, we all laugh when we talk about our parents using the telephone voice when
Mhm.
we're talking to the electric company,
Mhm.
or we want to talk to somebody's manager. We
Mhm.
have a particular way of talking.
Mhm.
That is really so we can get that person to hear us.
That's it. It's not being inauthentic and anything like that. I need you to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
And the question I would have is, what is the purpose of talking if you can't hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I might as well not say anything to you at all. My
Mm-hmm.
kids, when I was young, early in my career, my kids will call me Bob when they hear me on the phone
Oh,
because, because I code.
okay, now that's gonna stick with me now, Bob.
Hi, Bob. My kids, they would crack up. They would crack when they heard me. But one thing I would say, and it's really important, is that the concept of being authentic, and I totally believe in it. But
Yeah.
remember, the reason why you're going to an employer is not to be all of who you are. It
Mhm.
is to fulfill a need that they have.
Oh, wait, say that again.
So the reason why you're going to an employer
Yes.
not is it is not to be all who you are. It is to fulfill a need that they have. Okay.
Okay, so what doesn't work is when they're gonna have to accept me for who I am.
Right.
That. Mm,
Right. That's
mm,
that. And what may help is thinking of it like this. Let's say, for instance, you have 10 people working at a job, and
mhm,
every single one of those 10 people had the same exact attitude,
mhm,
same exact, you got to accept me for who I am. And
mhm,
none of the 10 are alike. None of the 10 are alike. Different cultures, different backgrounds, different everything. And everybody is on 10. Everybody.
mhm,
The reason why you're getting paid is to do a job.
mhm,
And the question I would have is, can the job be done?
mhm,
And the reason why somebody would go to a company is because you can pull resources together to get something done. That's
mhm.
the purpose of a company, is to pull resources together to get something done. Now, if you can be all who you are and it doesn't take away from the product or the service, I'm like, fine, that's good. But if it takes away from the product or the service, that's tough. And to the person who had the question, what I would say is, there's a way to communicate what you want without being intimidating,
Mhm.
without with it's factual. It is factual. What you've gone through is factual. I'm gonna share something with you. Something that I went through when I was young in my career. I was a CPA. I had a CPA firm, and on December 3rd, about 20 years ago, it was a Sunday. My father passed.
Mm.
October. I'm sorry. It was October 3rd. About 20 years ago, my father passed. The last tax day after extensions, everything else is October 15th.
Mhm.
Okay. It was my practice. I wasn't working for anybody. You can imagine how much they cared about my feelings when I told them on Monday that my father died.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What they said was, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Uh-huh. We're going over there.
What's happening on the 15th?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you got it. You got all your paperwork done.
Okay, you got my paperwork.
Yeah, right.
Okay, are you good? You know, I understand you're going through something, but are you good? Can you file my taxes by October 15th? Because that's real. That's real.
And you know, this is not appointed to Miss Sharma.
No.
But I just want to lend this advice to after having listened to people interview.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line that employers want to know is, what do you do, and what can you do for me?
Right.
To pull us forward.
Right.
What do you do, and what can you do for me?
Right.
And a lot of times, if you can explain, if you can have that elevator pitch, then you could get that conversation rolling as far as who you are and what you can do for that company or that person.
Right. Now, I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you on the flip side, as it relates to your caller. You know, I would say that there's a lot of skills that she's developed over the years that she doesn't even know she developed.
I was gonna say the same thing.
You know, she has developed a ton of skills. I know she has. She hasn't been sitting home.
And we were talking about that before we came on.
Yeah.
Before we came on, it's that the housewife is the financier.
Right.
You know, they could drive kids to school, so they're a driver.
Right.
They are the juggler, the multitasker.
They can listen. They can analyze.
Look,
negotiate. There's a ton of skills that a person being out of the workspace, and they still have skills, and they're still developing those skills. The question I would have for her is, you know, or the statement I would make is, just work with somebody in articulating those things that you had. And it speaks to another issue, which is really important, is that when you come to an interview, people kind of pick up your vibe. So there are several languages that are being spoken all at the same time. So one language is, I hear you. I hear the words that you're saying. Another one is the emotion. I can pick up the emotion in what you're saying. And another one, maybe I can pick up this negative energy. You're saying the right words, but you're carrying something else with you, you know? But if you can make that a positive and bring that positive energy in, you know, people will hire you just based on positive. You know, I love what I think you're going to bring to the table, because we don't know what anybody's going to bring to the table, to be honest.
No.
You know, but if you bring this positive energy to the table, and I get it, and that is just so much more important. She's gone through 10 years of not working. It's incredible. I'm telling you, it is incredible to come to the table being positive, because as an employer, you know that she's gone through struggles. You already know that.
Mm-hmm.
You already know that. But if that person comes to the table and is positive and saying, "Hey, look, I know what I've gone through, you know, but I can, for this moment, for this hour, for this 30 minutes, I'm going to summon all my energy to be positive."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it really does help. It really does help.
And positive about yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Positive about yourself.
Yeah.
Don't go in there and say, I know I'm not qualified, but I thought I'd try.
Right. There's an energy associated with just loving you. There's an energy associated with it. And if you bring that to the table, it's that thing when people walk away and say, I don't know what it is about that person, but I like her. You know, I want to be a part of the team.
Okay. Miss Sharma is our test case here, because she wrote in there, you know, she might find it very difficult to land an interview. Okay. First of all, you're doing the right thing because you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Okay. But you said it might be the gap in the resume. So here's what I want to tell you about gap. This is where I was authentic, because there was a gap in my resume. I stepped out of the workforce thinking I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. Well, wrong. I needed to go back to work, not only because I work hard, but my son got into private school. I needed to go back to work. Okay. It is all in how you are answering and presenting yourself.
Yes.
Because my current employer didn't even recognize the gap. And silly me, I said, well, you don't have any questions. You might want to ask me what happened with the gap. Now, if I was smart, I would have just kept my mouth closed.
Yeah.
But I was anxious to tell it because I wanted to let them know that I wasn't just resting on my laurels.
Right.
And that there were things that I was doing to improve myself.
Right.
I mean, you mentioned Miss Sharma here, that you've gone back, you're up on your computer skills,
Right.
You're up on probably the programs that you need to do as a graphic artist. You probably got that reel ready, and you're ready to go. You just haven't landed the job that is for you. It's out there for you. I want to say it's out. I'm going to speak it into existence. It's out there for you. In fact, here's what I would like for you to do, Miss Sharma, which is, I hope I'm saying this right, because I don't always have the language right. But if you direct message me, I think I can hook you up with someone who could at least give you that, I'm going to say, free session that might help catapult you to your next round. Because we got to get rid of the doubting. We got to get rid of, there's a gap in my resume that's holding me back. We want to say you are worthy of having the next job, and that the one that's out there for you just haven't run into it.
Right. And, the other thing that's really important, the only reason that we're talking about a gap in a resume is really there may be a lack of relationships. Because if you have enough relationships, you can get a job. That is not a problem. I don't care what your resume look like. You can get a job.
No, because I'm telling you, we sit back, they ask all of these questions. And the final the question that they're looking for you to answer is, what you gonna do for me?
Right. That's right.
What are you going to do? What are you bringing to the table for me? Is it a new skill? Is it a new program? I saw, do your research on that company, right?
And that's the wonderful thing. That's the wonderful thing about this Women's Leadership Forum that you have, because relationships can be developed.
Absolutely. You're bringing me back. Okay. We're so over time. This is beautiful. Okay. But listen. Miss Sharma, listen, if you go to the company's website and you look at that website and you're like, wait, did you do that? Who did that? Etch a sketch? Okay, then here's what you present. You present all your skills and ability, because I will bank on this question. What would you do differently? Right? What would you do differently? Be ready.
Right.
Show them your skills. I would have done this and this and this will help your company do whatever, make $1 million if that's what it is.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. And even if it's wrong, you would be surprised at the number of people who don't think that way. The issue is not being right about what you can do. The issue is you can think. I mean, you have an idea, you say, well, you can take my business X. Well, I know you can't really, because you don't know my business really on the inside. Right. You don't know my issues, but at least you're thinking that way. And you would be amazed about the number of people who just don't think that way.
Now, graphic artists, I know that you're protective of your skills. I know you're protective of your third eye. Okay. But 9 times out of 10, when you're telling somebody, they taking notes on that, because they go back to the team and say, have you ever thought about what Miss Sharma, who I just interviewed, said? She had some pretty good ideas. What do you think?
That's right. And she's thinking the right way. We don't have any graphic artists that really think like that. I mean, they like the art, and they'll think, and they'll take instruction and they'll write something down and fine. That's good, but we need somebody that at least gets it.
And, and when you say get it, it's like get it money.
Right.
Like get how am I going to make more money, or how am I going to survive? How am I going to make this team better? How will you lead that team? It's all about the movement.
It's the movement. It's the movement. It's the movement. So if we, and I can share this, we have our own issues, whether it is, me coming from special ed and having a ton of self-doubt. And then you realize that the doubt is just in your own head. But once you can get over some of that self stuff, regardless of what the self situation is, it's self stuff. Because people have dealt with the same thing and have survived and have thrived. Okay. But once you get through that, you are really on your way of, being able to articulate the positive in whatever's going on in your life, and really contributing, really helping an organization thrive and move forward. And that's what people want. People want positive people around them.
Arron.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm such a bad interviewer. Okay. I'm going to tell you why. We've been talking. We didn't mention your company.
Oh.
All we did was we talked. We're just talking. But we were so busy trying to solve X with Miss Sharma. Right? We didn't even say who you are. So look, okay, tell them who you are.
Well, I'm Arron Copeland with Align Staffing. That's ALIGNSTAFFING.
I got it all.
You got it there.
That didn't even spell right. Okay.
AlignStaffing.com. And so that's what we're our focus, our industry focus is education. Our industry focus is education with teachers and aides and principals and vice principals. And that's our sector. That's our sweet spot. And if there's anybody who's interested in knowing more about us, please contact us directly through AlignStaffing.com or through the Women's Leadership Forum.
Absolutely. Now, here, Arron is my cue guy, okay? Because we're gonna have to bring Arron back. That's just all there is to it. We're gonna have to because he's bringing value to us. Mm-hmm. I'm publicly thanking Arron because Arron is a supporter of the Women's Leadership Forum. Mm-hmm. And I better spell his company name right next time if he's such a grand supporter. But the Women's Leadership Forum, we are about jobs, and we're trying to get you matched up. We're trying to get your interviews, get you coached up, introduce you to people so that you can network to take yourselves to the next level, no matter where you are. No matter where you are. This is not your CEO's event. This is the event for you. You who are watching. It's your event. The more women that come, the more that participate in the forum makes that forum better, because we want to know, what do you do and how can we work with you?
Yes.
How can we work with you? And I mean that both ways, meaning if you are a resourceful person, if you are selling copiers and I need copiers, I'm going to call you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call you. If you got the paper and I'm out of paper, I'm going to call you. Mm-hmm. So our whole way of dealing with one another is in terms of encouragement and support, that we are trying to lift each other up to whatever the next level that you desire to be. But if there's not enough of us there, then I'm talking to the wind. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm not trying to talk to the wind, because although I can talk to the wind, I'm not trying to talk to the wind. We're trying to help. We're trying to help not only Baltimore, we're trying to help Virginia. We're in California. We're now going to be in the UK. I've got now I've been told we're going to have partners in India, maybe Africa. So I'm so excited about this women's forum, not just because it's going to be everywhere, but we are helping everyone. Because when we help our women, guess what? We help the families. Okay? When we help the women, we help our communities. And when we help women get jobs, sorry, employers, but we're helping the job. So even in your skills, if you're trying to get boned up on your skills, we want to get you connected. We want to get you connected. Okay. That is what we're built on. Arron and I, we made a connection. We lost connection, but now we're back. How do I say back together again? Okay, we're back. We're back. And it's real talk. This is February. It's coming from the heart. It's coming from the heart. I'm not sure I know how to come any other way. And I'm not sure Arron knows how to come any other way. So what you see is what you get, as they say. And Arron. Arron?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
I've invited you to come back. It might not be before the forum. You might have to give us a rundown on what you saw at the forum, right?
Yes.
At the forum. Yes. And one of our guests here today is Jackie Lawson.
Okay.
Formerly Jackie Dickerson. Now you remember that? Remember that name? You remember Esther Jeffries?
Yes.
Okay, that's the daughter. That's the daughter. And she says, I know Arron and his brother, Irvin. Okay. So I'm letting you know.
My family in.
people are out there watching you. Okay, people who you know. And so we're happy to have Jackie on with us today. Yeah. I know Jackie doesn't know it, but she's going to be one of our guests. Since we talk so much about Morgan, I'm sure she and her husband will come and join us to share more with us about what the Morganites, those Morgan Bears, are doing.
Yes.
I want you all to continue to be safe out there. I know that this seemed like a short conversation with Arron, but I'm up here sweating. Okay. It seems like a short conversation, but it is a fruitful conversation. I hope that some of you all took notes. I hope that you will continue to join us. And now I want to tell you what's coming. What is coming up? Okay. We've got Friday. Friday is Friday. And we always talk about self-care for women. And no, we're not talking about just the nails and the hair, although that's important. We're not just talking about those things. We're talking about taking care of the whole self, whether it's the soul, whether it's the mind, whether it's just, I need somebody to check my resume so I'm not worried about it. We bring on Miss Keisha Hicks. She's out of Tennessee, and her company is called the Elevateher. The Elevateher. Play on words there, right? And then, Monday, I don't even have a banner for that. That's exercise day. Is it exercise? Yeah, exercise day. We're rounding back up and doing exercises. Y'all, they got me exercising on a Monday. I want you to join us back on Monday. And then this is Friday. I mean, this is Black History Month. How can I leave that out? Yes. Black History Month. Every day we are celebrating through our social media. Arron doesn't know it, but he's here because it's Black History Month too. He's a business owner. Okay. He owns Align Staffing. Yeah. And we're celebrating our African-American entrepreneurs and business owners. So thank you, Arron. And we will be sure to funnel our business through Align Staffing. But all 28 days, we are celebrating days of Black business and featuring on our social media either entrepreneurs or Black businesses. And then that leads us up to March.
Mhm.
March is all, it's on, as they
Mhm.
say, it's on. And we will have the Women's Leadership Forum March 18th through the 20th. And we are celebrating the women and lifting women up.
Mhm.
And we want you to join us. Again, you can register for the forum at forwardwlf.org, or by you can find us through our hashtag, which is forwardwlf. Arron, I'm gonna stop rough talking, but I want to tell you, I really appreciate you. I
Oh,
appreciate you being our guest.
thank
I
you
want
so
to
much.
welcome you back to our platform where we can talk,
Yes.
we could talk authentically
Yes, we
and
can.
from the heart,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
From the heart, because I know you don't do anything but, and we will have grander discussions once the forum is over and we have experienced success. We will be cheering each other on, right?
Absolutely. 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 I
So I
thank you
want
so much.
you to say it again.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much.
Oh, I know Miss Sharma is thanking you. I know Miss Sharma's thanking you, and I hope Miss Sharma will contact me so we can get her moving in the direction that she desires to
Yes.
move
Yes.
in, right?
Yes. She has skills. She definitely has skills.
Yeah, and most folks don't even recognize the skills that they have. So
Mhm.
let's get those skills on paper. Let's get
Mhm.
let's get her that job that she desires,
Right.
and get it moving. I'm gonna say it forward. We're gonna
Yes.
get it moving forward.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
On that note, I'm gonna play our outro, which is new for me. I'm playing the outro. I'm gonna wish you well, and we will talk backstage. Right? We're gonna
Yeah.
talk backstage, so don't go nowhere, as they say. I'm gonna play the outro, and I will see you on the next broadcast, which is Friday. Everybody be safe. The Women's Leadership Forum would like to thank our guest and you for viewing our broadcast today. We encourage you to continue to follow, subscribe, and bookmark us at Forward WLF. Know that it is followers, viewers, and attendees like you that make this Women's Leadership Forum tribe great and memorable. Don't forget to reserve your tickets for our 3-day March event on our website, forwardwlf.org. That's forwardwlf.org. Continue to remain safe, and I look forward to being with you soon.